Hello and welcome again to my YouTube channel Programming with Debabrata. In this class we shall learn how to handle files efficiently in Python. Let's start the class. First of all, we shall see how to handle the file. So, file handling in Python, files are important for storing data and processing them later on. Python can handle the files in a very efficient way. The key function for handling a file is open, and open should be followed by close. The open function takes two parameters, namely file name and mode. So the modes are that is read. Default value opens a file for reading, error if the file doesn't exist. Then A for append, opens a file for appending, creates the file if it does not exist. And W is for write, opens a file for writing, creates the file if it does not exist. So in this section we shall start mainly read, append and write, and there is another X that creates the specific file, returns an error if the file exists. Now we want to create a file. For that we will go to the IPython console. This is our IPython console, and here we shall start by a parameter, suppose fp. Fp is equal to first open and then file name. Suppose we are providing the file name as, this may be double inverted or single inverted, no problem. So suppose test.txt, and the mode by default is R or read. If I don't give anything by comma and inside that inverted comma, then by default it takes R. Now check it, we are not giving anything, but there is no file test.txt in the folder I am working, so it should show some error. It is giving file not found error, and file not found error, error number 2, no such file or directory test.txt. So for the first time we have to create test.txt. For that we are just creating it with writing privilege W. So we just hit enter and no error is showing. Now if we give the previous command, that is file.txt or test.txt, it will read the file. Now we can give the R or just leave it, it will by default take R. So no error is coming. So if we want to print fp in the console, we shall write only the fp, and it is showing that text IO wrapper name test.txt and mode is R, encoding UTF-8. Now if we provide this as R, then the same happens here. Now if we give it the write, then it comes as, here the mode is W, so it is writing. In case of write, the file is created, or if there is something in the file, then that is lost and new items are written in the file. So whenever we give the command fp open file name, that may be text file or maybe test.txt, with W, then that creates a text file like this in the folder, in the home folder. We can show it what it's showing. So I am just opening the file, open it, open, and go to that folder. I am going to that folder and test.txt. That see, test.txt has been created, and in the directory Python under tutorials. I have not written anything, just created the file. So it is a empty file, empty txt file that has been created in my folder. Now suppose I want to write something in this file. Then I have created the file with the name test.txt with write, and if we want to write something, then we have to give the command fp.write and the thing learning to write in file, and giving it a new line \n. Just enter it. It shows the number of characters I have typed there. And suppose we want to write another line. Right, I am giving some strings of numbers 1 2 3 4 5. These are numbers. Then fp.close and closing the file. Now see what happens. I have kept the file open, and whenever I have written something, it is showing that the file, the path changed on the disk, and reload. Just reload it. So we have written learn to write in file. Here learn to write in file has been written, and after that a line fit, and then we have written 1 2 3 4 5. These are numbers, and that is also printed in the file. I have closed the fp parameter, and fp, if I type, it is showing that it is in the writing mode. Now we want to read the files from the data file. I am clearing it. So whenever we want to read, then I have to just define another parameter, suppose identifier, suppose fp1, and then open again the file name test.txt with read. So if I want to check what is there, then fp1, it gives the file type. If I want to print the content of the file, then I have to write print and fp1.read and parenthesis. So this will read the content of the file and print that in my console. Check learning to write in a file 1 2 3 4 5. These are numbers as it is written in the file. So it has just read the file and gave the output from that file. In this way we can read any file we have created or created. Now we can just write some script file to handle the file in any editor and then run it in Python. Suppose we are creating a file, we are creating and saving it, filewrite.py in my tutorial folder, and it is written. Then I am just writing fp is equal to open, fp is equal to open, give another file name, suppose my name debu.txt, and with write, save it. Now I am using some comments here to read manually, not for the machine. Comments are very useful and will be used in large programmings for better understanding later on. So a comment starts with a hash sign. I am creating file with write. So see the color here, color has been changed, and this line will not be read by the machine. Machine will learn fp open and debu.txt and the w. Now I am writing file, commenting it, writing inside the file. Suppose fp.write sun rises in the east and new line. Then fp.write I shall not sleep tonight. Then again line feeding, and fp.write let us have some dinner. Then I should close the file, fp.close. This is the file actually writing. Now run this with Python. I am checking what are in this tutorial folder. There are several things. I have written the file write.py. Here you can see it, file write.py. I just run it with Python. Python file write.py, and you can see that there is a file debu.txt. Now let me show you. I am showing you. Here you can see that a file inside my Python, and tutorial, there is a file named debu.txt. If I open it, I am opening it. Just remove this. And adding the another window. Okay, so if I want to check what is written, then I have to go to the folder and this one. See, sun rises in the east, I shall not sleep tonight, let us have some dinner. So I have written it. Now I want to read it from the same Python file. For that I have to write that fp1, suppose I am giving some spaces, reading the file named debu.txt. So fp1 is equal to open and name of the file and with R. You may not give R because by default it takes R, and I have to print it in terminal. So I am printing it, print Now fp1 dot read and fp dot close. I am just closing it. So it will write these lines in the file and then read the file and print the output from the file. So just run it. See that sun rises in the east. I shall not sleep tonight. Let us have some dinner. So we have learned how to write the script file, to write the file and then to read the file with read command. There is another very good way to create and read file with the with function. I shall show you here. So in this case you don't require to close the file, but you just open the file with the with command and the scripting is here. I shall write it in the IPython terminal. So I am creating file with. So the command is with open, give the file name. Here I am giving d.txt and giving it type w as f. Here f is the identifier. So you see that there is some indentation, and this indent mean we are under this with function. So f dot write, I am writing hello world and new line, again writing f dot write how are you. So these two lines I have written and just entering. You may check that there is a file d.txt. I am just opening it, just open, and in the d.txt you can see that hello world and how are you, these two sentences have been printed. Now if I want to read that file, then I have to open it with read mode. So with open, giving my file name d.txt, and now for reading as f1 suppose and colon, then I am taking the contents of the file as the variable name data. Data is equal to f1 dot read lines. This is another function for reading lines. It reads the line and I am just printing this. This is hello and data. So print data. You can see the same hello world, and there is some \n, that means new line, and how are you. Now if I want to slice this, that means I want to split this, it will take hello, then world, then how, then are, then you. Then I have to do some splitting here using split function. Split. For this we have to use some loop. I shall come to loop in another class, but for the present instant just see how for works. For line in data colon, and suppose I am giving the name word, line dot split, and I am printing print word. So you can check that hello is separated, world is separated with note of exclamations, and how are you, these are separated. So in this way you can see the script file. In this way we can write and read any file without closing it with the open option. So this is a very good kind of option for writing and reading files in Python. Now, suppose we want to print 0 to 10 suppose in a data file, suppose d.txt, then we have to write some coding using loop. I shall come to loop in next class. Now check how it happens. Suppose I am opening the file as with open d.txt with writing as if. Now for I in range I want to write up to 10, then I have to give an 11 if dot write the formatting of file format and I. This will write 0 to 10 in the file. Now check what happens. I am just reloading it 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Up to 10 it has been written. Now if I want to increase that, suppose I want to just print 0 to 10 with a step size of 2, then it comes and see. So 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, and with a step size of suppose 3, I am printing it up to 15, and with a step size of 3, then it has been printed 0, 3, 6, 9, 12 and 15. In this way we can do anything with the file. Suppose we are writing just this square is and this. Now we have to give it as I square. Now check what happens. So it is writing 0 square is 0, 3 square is 9, 6 square is 36, 9 square is 81. In this way you can do anything with your file if you just learn how to read and write your file.